Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're featuring another Squale. Now this is another 1521, but this one is completely different to the other piece, being that it is a bronzed case watch, and I think it looks really cool with the contrast against the blue. As I say, it's kind of a brand which is a little bit new to me. I know they've got an avid fan base, but it's not one of those I've really had much dealing with before. So I was I really quite enjoyed looking at these. I think they are kind of very cool watches. Now, as I say, the bronze on this does mean you'll get a different patina over time. What I mean by that is this will go slightly darker as bronze does over the time. So, but you can always clean it back, but some people like to see that patina on the actual case. But before I start to get too far into review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth. I've said it before, loads and loads of stock. And what's cool is over 115 different brands to choose from. They've got so many brands, it is well worth popping in. I'll leave a link to their website in my description and below right now, and telephone number for Rowland if you want to contact them. All I do ask is, as we've just started working together, you can mention you've seen it on the channel. That would help no end. So anyway, sizes are 42mm by 14mm, and the lug to lug was 49.5, I think it was, or just over 49mm. The strap size on this is 20mm. Now the dial, I think the dial looks really good. I love the contrast between the blue and the bronze. I think it just has a really cool look about it. It's even down to these applied hour markers, which are also bronze, as too are the hands. There is plenty of lume not only on the dial but also on the bezel of this watch. It does look really good. Now, as you can see, the minute hand there is orange. That's always been a bit of a signature, I think, for Squale over the years. It's to help you distinguish that when underwater, when you're using the bezel as, an actual timer. The dial itself, though, look at that sunburst effect on there. I think it looks really good. So what I mean by it, you see the lines, emanating out from the center as it catches the light. To be fair, this is when the watch needs to be outside in the sunlight, so it really does kind of, amplify that, let's say. Now, the only thing which is a little bit strange on this one is the date placement. I don't think I've ever seen a watch with a date placement up at 2 o'clock. It is a little bit different. Now, being that the standard date placement on these is down here, and as to as the crown, I presume what they've done in essence is rotated the movement round, and that's why it is where it is. It's kind of different, a little bit unusual. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. I'll be quite intrigued. Now, when it comes to actual sort of like writing on the dial, you have Squale up there with their little logo, and the tiger down there. It's the shark, I should say tiger. I don't know where I got from. Now, and professional down below there. You are talking a 500-meter diver here. So it's a very credible dive watch. Now, as we come past that, we have this crystal. Now, the crystal is ever so slightly domed, as you can see that. And you can see the distortion you get on the edge there as you go through. So it does have AR coating. Obviously, it is sapphire. Then we come out to the bezel. Let's have a listen to it. Quite a nice sounding bezel, actually. There's a little bit of play. It's a 120 click bezel. Does feel different to the other 1521 I reviewed the other week. This one does feel a little, not quite so snappy. It's a little bit more muted. Not that there's anything bad in that. Does it line up? Of course it lines up. There you go. Now, as you can see, this has got a much thicker bezel on there. It just feels much easier to grasp, actually. It looks like it's a captive system on here as well. What I mean by that is you don't use a case knife to lift it off. It is actually screwed in position, which is a more elegant way of doing it, I think so anyway. Now, the actual case of the watch, obviously it's made in the bronze, kind of coppery bronze here. Now, as I say, it will change colour as the time goes on, but you can always bring it back to its original colour. It's got very kind of almost looks a little bit coarser graining, but that could just be down to the material and the way it reflects as it comes round. Now the crown is a screw down crown, as one would expect, and on the back you do have a steel case back. Reason being is obviously you don't want the brass against skin because it can have a reaction on some people. Now the movement in this is the SW200. Now I put this on the time grapher and it did amazing. It was pulling 0 seconds. Beat error was a little bit high, but overall accuracy was spot on. Really impressed with that one. So you get around about 38 hours of power reserve, and it's a 26 joule movement. Now, when it comes to power reserve, I know some people say, oh, 38 hours isn't enough, but I just need my watch to run overnight if it's not on my wrist or if I'm not moving. You know, I don't really... I know some companies can alter them and have a really long power reserve, but then you tend to find that the last 10 hours or so of that are really, the timekeeping is nowhere near as good due to the power curve. Now, these generally are spot on. The SW200 movement is a good solid workhorse. Now, on this, we have got the leather strap, but it does come with a NATO with matching hardware in the bronze colour there. So, but I think the leather strap looks much better on it, and it does have matching hardware on that. 2 floating keepers. Overall, I think it's a really cracking looking, strap on this. Let me put it on my wrist and get an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing a Zin U2 in black, and Bob's got a Zin 104 on. So, anyway, my wrist size, 7¼ inches. Let's just tilt that over. Now, due to its lug design, I think these sit down on the wrist so well. As you can see there, it just really hunkers down nicely on the wrist. I think it feels quite nice on the wrist. Obviously, this one here, being that it is a bronze one, it's heavier than the steel. It does feel a little bit more heavier. But overall, I think it's a great looking watch. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of it. And most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye.